We're waiting for just a minute, so feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
The Monday, April 15th, 2024 meeting is now called to order. Roll call, Ms. Nelson Williams.
Thank you. Unfortunately, Louise Jackson is unable to attend this evening. Otherwise, everyone else is here and accounted for.
Thank you. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are going to move on to the presentation portion of our meeting to recognize the Service Award recipients and our retirees. Dr. Ostrike.
Good evening, President Coquet, Dr. Beresford, and members of our school board. It is an honor to be here tonight to recognize those Carmel Clay Schools employees this evening for their years of service, and then we will also recognize those CCS employees who will retire at the end of the 23-24 school year. We will begin with our years of service recognition. When I call the years of service that you've achieved here in the district, what I'd like you to do is line up against the brick wall to my left, your right, and there is an assignment this evening, especially for those in the 20 and 25 years of service recognition. I would ask you to line up alphabetically, and then you will come forward. We will call your name, and we will recognize you. This evening, we have a certificate for you. In addition to the certificate, we have a card for you, and in that card, there will be an Amazon gift card for you to purchase some. There we go. Thank you. Kim, thank you. We will have an Amazon gift card in there for you to recognize those years of service. And previously, you received a catalog and were able to pick out something from the catalog, but we want to give you a little bit more autonomy and flexibility so you can purchase something for yourselves from Amazon, whatever your heart desires. And so for our 20 years of service, you will receive a $100 Amazon gift card to purchase something to recognize this evening and your years of service. So at this time, those individuals who will be recognized for 20 years of service with Carmel Clay Schools, please take a moment, line up. Please line up against the wall so you don't have to use the stairs, and line up, and we will begin very shortly. Emily, you're leading us off. Chris, you are second. And as our 20 years of service employees are organizing themselves, I want to take a special moment and thank our food service department for the wonderful reception we had this evening. In addition, and thank you, Jennifer, who's here. Our director is here with us this evening. Thank you very much, Jennifer McFarland. If you would also please wave. Let's recognize Jennifer. Thank you. I'd also like to thank our HR team, and especially Kelly Hackett, who is up front here, who will be assisting with the certificates. And also, we have Becky Thornberry, who is also with us in front, and Taylor Shipley. Thank you. All right, at this time, and please hold your applause till the end, and it will be a rousing round of applause towards the end. Okay, first off, 20 years of service. We have Emily Adelman from Prairie Trace. We have Christopher Bartley from Creekside Middle School. We have Peter Beck, Carmel High School. Mindy Bland, Town Meadow Elementary. Stacy Campbell, Town Meadow Elementary School. Jamie Dieter, Town Meadow Elementary School. Carmen Hamachek, Carmel High School. Kira Hansen, Carmel High School. Kimberly Harrell, Carmel Elementary School. Carl Heinzman, Maintenance. Stephanie Heiser, Town Meadow Elementary School. Jason Hicks, Carmel High School. Margaret Jackson, Carmel Middle School. Jeanette James, Carmel High School. Mindy Jason, Educational Services Center. Justin K., Forestdale Elementary. Tessa Kopnitsky, Smoky Row Elementary School. Robert Loy, Creekside Middle School. Beth Lyons, Forestdale Elementary. Abby Mann, Collegewood Elementary. Kristen Muir, Town Meadow Elementary. Elizabeth Pantella, Town Meadow Elementary. Sean Peters, Carmel Middle School. Amanda Richmond, Carmel High School. J.C. Schneider, Collegewood Elementary. Judy Schwartz, Carmel Elementary. Kristen Taylor, Carmel Middle School. Evan Williams, Clay Middle School. Brandy Yost, Carmel High School. And Rob Yull, Transportation. Congratulations, 20 years of service. And at this time, Mrs. Thornberry is going to come and get a picture of everybody, so we need everybody to scoot in. We're going to do a group picture with 20 years of service. As we're taking the group picture, those with 25 years of service, please line up alphabetically against the brick wall to my left. Jen, you're leading us off. One more round of applause. 20 years of service, Carmel Clay Schools. All right, scoot on up, everybody. Scoot on up. All right. Stacy, you're second. Julie's third. Oh yeah, where's Michelle? Did Michelle leave? I saw. Michelle Faust? Michelle? Does she have to go? Okay. All right. Next, we are going to recognize those with 25 years of service to Carmel Clay Schools. They will also receive a certificate, a card, that will also include an Amazon gift card that's a little bit more than the $100. So, there you go. We will begin. Once again, please hold your applause until the end. All right. Jen Bupp, Carmel High School. Stacy Fowler, Carmel High School. Julie Graham, Woodbrook Elementary. Megan Klingensmith, Carmel Elementary. Dawn Lawmeyer, Carmel High School. Deb Lesjak, Carmel High School. Christy Lebekine, Carmel High School. Tiffany Litzelman, Carmel High School. John Love, Carmel High School. Cinda Lowe, Cherry Tree Elementary. Kelly Meyer, Mohawk Trails Elementary. Ross Miller, Smoky Row Elementary. April O'Call, Education Services Center. Mickey Outclett, Carmel High School. Allie Schmidt, Collegewood Elementary. Wendy Rice, Creekside Middle School. Julie Scott Jackson, Creekside Middle School. Trista Summers, Prairie Trace Elementary School. Brian Thiel, Cherry Tree Elementary. Jessica Tubbs, Creekside Middle School. Janet Bale, Woodbrook Elementary. Becky White, Forestdale Elementary. And Mr. Mark Ween, Carmel High School. Congratulations! 25 years of service to Carmel Clay Schools. All right, so they're going to get their picture at this time. And as we're taking that picture, if anyone else wants to come up and snap a shot, you're welcome as well. And while we're doing that with those employees with 30 years of service, please line up to my left, your right, against the brick wall. All right, I got to grab my soda. Grab my water.
Right on schedule.
We got Andy, Melanie, Jill. And as we get up into the 30 years of service and 35 years, 40 years, we even have a 50 years of service, you might see a couple people that will return during our retiree portion at some point, but we shall see. All right, recognizing those Carmel Clay Schools employees with 30 years of service, we are going to start from Carmel High School, who was a teacher when I student taught there, Andy Cook. From Woodbrook Elementary School, Melanie Crouch. From Carmel High School, Jill Grimes. From Carmel Middle School, Kristen Leonard. From Cherry Tree Elementary, Rachel Lima. From Carmel Elementary, Julie McElwee. From our Education Services Center, Roger McMichael. From our Transportation Department, Douglas Osborne. And from our Educational Services Center, from the Human Resources Department, Mrs. Amy Shear. Congratulations, 30 years of service. All right, and as we're getting our picture with those with 35 years of service, please come and line up against the brick wall. Congratulations again, 30 years of service to Carmel Clay Schools. You know we have a pretty special district here in Carmel when we're getting 30, 35, 40, and recognize the outstanding dedication of our employees here in the district. And it is our honor to recognize all of you this evening. So at this time, we are going to recognize those with 35 years of service to Carmel Clay Schools. We are going to start off from Carmel Middle School, Terry Droz. Round of applause for 35. There we go. Thank you to the person in the audience for that prompt. That was outstanding. Also from Carmel Middle School, Mary Ann Farron, 35 years. From Carmel Elementary School, Kimberly Fisher. Thank you, Kimberly. And right here from Clay Middle School, Mr. Mark Smith. Let's give a big round of applause for those with 35 years of service to Carmel Clay Schools. All right, now I already see our 40 years of service people coming up. Well done. You understood the assignment. Well done. As they're getting their picture for 35 years. 40 years, please come on up. One more round of applause. 35 years of service with Carmel Clay Schools. All right. 40 years of service to Carmel Clay Schools. Let's clap right on the onset. There you go. Thank you, Ms. Tubbs. Our first employee from Carmel High School within our food service department. Let's put our hands together. 40 years of service for Edith Billingsley. From Prairie Trace Elementary School, PE teacher and bus driver, Kathy Hardwick. And we have two individuals we're recognizing from the Carmel High School Food Service Department, and our third member of our family here in Carmel with 40 years of service from Carmel High School, Patricia Mulder. Congratulations. One more round of applause. 40 years of service to Carmel Clay Schools. Congratulations, 40 years of service with Carmel Clay Schools. Mr. George, come on up, please. George Omer, or Mr. George, as his students affectionately call him on bus 86, is currently wrapping up his 14th year as a bus driver for Carmel Clay Schools and his 50th year as a member of our Carmel Clay Schools community. Right here, right here, right here. Here, come stand in front here, George. Come stand in front. So I'm going to tell you a little, George, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about George. So George was a Carmel High School graduate with the class of 1970 and then returned as a teacher, retiring as a science teacher at Carmel High School in 2010 after 36 years of service. But George decided he wasn't done. And with his service to our Carmel Clay students and families, he immediately moved into a bus driver role starting with the 2010-2011 school year and has been a source of safety, support, and consistency for all CCS students lucky enough to ride in his bus over the years. Currently, George is the lead driver for Prairie Trace Elementary, where his two granddaughters, Marley and Delaney, also attend. Not only does he just drive for Prairie Trace, he also drives for Clay Middle School and Carmel High School. When he's not on the bus, George loves rooting for the Detroit Tigers, taking care of his small farm, but most of all, he loves spending time with his wife, Nancy, who's here, and also a CHS grad and CCS teacher. Let's give Nancy a round of applause. And he loves spending time with his 3 children and 2 grandchildren. We want to thank George so much for his 50 years of service to Carmel Clay Schools and look forward to having him behind the wheel for as long as he wants to continue waking up super early to drive for us. Congratulations, 50 years, George Omer. Thank you, George. All right, at this time, we are going to transition to the retiree portion of the evening. So with those employees who are here, who are retiring at the end of the 23-24 school year, please line up along the brick wall at this time. And Sonia, you're up first. All right, we will go ahead and please applause after each of our retirees as well, and I'll be saying a few words about each of our retirees this evening. So first we have Building IA from Smoky Row Elementary School, Sonia Bogenschutz. Sonia has a true gift for working with all types of learners. Smoky Row has been so fortunate to have her as she has made such a difference in the lives of both staff and students. She will be extremely missed, yet her impact will be forever felt within our Smoky Row family. Sonia Bogenschutz. Performing arts teacher from Carmel High School, Andrew Cook. Andy Cook has been an integral part of the Carmel Band program for over 3 decades. He student taught with Richard Sacedo at Carmel High School in 1986 and subsequently served as the Associate Director of Bands. His outgoing personality and energetic, humorous teaching style has endeared him to generations of Carmel band students and family over the years. Andy is the only band director at Carmel High School to have been a part of all 6 marching band state championships and all 6 Carmel Marching Band national championships. Congratulations, Andy Cook. Carmel High School counselor, Bettina Kuhl. Here's to Bettina Kuhl, whose dedication and guidance have shaped the lives of students and eased the worries of parents for 3 decades. Her impact will resonate far behind the halls of Carmel High School. Cheers to a well-deserved retirement filled with relaxation and fulfillment. Bettina Kuhl. Carmel High School social studies teacher, Jill Grimes. Jill Grimes retires as a Greyhound, where she spent the vast majority of her illustrious 34-year career. Jill is a staple in the Carmel High School Social Studies Department, having taught geography, United States history, government, and AP Human Geography throughout her career. Jill is the quintessential teacher leader, leading many academic teams over her tenure and taking on leadership roles within the Carmel Teachers Association over the past several years. Jill is the embodiment of the foundational purpose of public education through her advocacy for her students and teachers. Jill Grimes. School counselor from Carmel High School, Christina Hartman. Cheers to Chris Hartman, who brought laughter and light to our counseling department for over 2 decades. Thank you for 20 years of dedication to our students and for always reminding us to find joy in every moment. Wishing you endless laughter and happiness in your well-deserved retirement. Chris Hartman. From Mohawk Trails Elementary School, 2nd grade teacher, Lori Hayes. Lori is a dedicated educator who has worked to support Mohawk Trails over the years. She has built lasting relationships with students through her time as a classroom teacher and through being a club sponsor and volunteering at many after-school events for our students. Congratulations, Lori Hayes. All right. Susan Hughes, Transportation. Susan Hughes has been an outstanding bus driver for Carmel Clay Schools and has been adored by all of her students and families, caring for each child as though they were her own and being a source of love, support, consistency, and safety for Carmel students for 19 years. Her impact was most recently underscored by an overwhelming number of parent nominations, leading to her being named the 2021 Transportation Employee of the Year. Congratulations, Susan Hughes. From Smoky Row Elementary School, PE teacher, Karina Mercer. Karina has served our Smoky Row community for 32 years since the building opened. She's been the only PE teacher in the history of Smoky Row Elementary School. Our students leave her class each week having worked up a sweat and often enjoy the games and activities in PE. We are so grateful for the amazing start that Mrs. Mercer has given our PE program over the years, and she will certainly be missed. Congratulations, Karina Mercer. And let's give one more round of applause to all of our Carmel Clay Schools retirees this evening. Congratulations. All right, we're going to get pictures. Feel free to come up and take pictures with the group, and we'll have Mrs. Thornberry and also Miss Shipley capture some moments for us this evening as well. Feel free to go a little closer if you like. Feel free, no problem. Congratulations again to our CCS retirees. Thank you. And at this time, I'm going to turn the meeting back to our president, President Coquet.
Because it is a school night, we're going to take a little bit of a break. If anybody wants to leave, you're welcome to stay. But if you need to get home because of all you do for our students, go ahead. We're going to take a brief break. The next portion of our meeting is public comment. However, this evening, no one has signed up for public comment. So after that, next on the agenda is consent. As we have talked about in meetings prior to this, this is kind of our business section of the meeting where we approve in one single motion several different things. So today it includes a personnel report, claims, payroll, the elementary grade configuration alignments, gift applications, and the March 11th and March 26th school board minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
That was Greg and then Katie. Any discussion? Seeing none, we will now take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. 4-0, motion carries. The next portion of our meeting is our action items, and our first action item is the authority to hire certified and non-certified staff and accept resignations from May 14th, 2024 through August 26th, 2024. Dr. Beresford.
Once again, we come to recommend that the board give authority to myself and to Dr. Tom Ostrike to hire both certified and non-certified staff and accept resignations immediately from May 14th, 2024 through August 26th, 24. We do that in order to be efficient and be able to fill all of our positions quickly, as well as release our employees who are moving to somewhere else or maybe another district, that sort of thing. So it's really about efficiency, and then any personnel matters will be then put on the next board agenda whenever the next board meeting is that occur between those dates. Thank you.
May I have a motion to approve the authority to hire certified and non-certified staff and accept resignations from May 14th, 2024 through August 26th, 2024?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jenny. Any discussion? Seeing none, we will now take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Our next action item is the resolution authorizing and approving acceptance of transfer of construction trailers. Mr. McMichael.
I'm not sure it does work. Okay. Well, I'm very pleased to present this to you this evening. Griffith Public Schools is gifting modular classrooms to Carmel Clay Schools. These modulars are only 2 years old. They include 7 classrooms with restrooms, and that's significant. We need the modulars to do the major renovation at Cherry Tree, which will hopefully start this summer. And our original plan was to lease 4 units, trying to balance the need with the cost, but we have to move a certain number of students out of the building in order to have room to do the construction. And so this came up, and it's just really a fabulous gift. These modulars have 7 classrooms plus restrooms, and they have an interior hallway, so it's as close as you can get to being a school, to where, you know, when you open a door from the classroom, you're in a hallway. The 4 modulars were 4 individual buildings, like a mobile home, and so outdoor access, everything you can imagine there. We would have had to have brought students and staff into the building to use the restrooms, of course, with supervision and so forth. So this is a wonderful gift, and it's even more so because our schedule would suggest that we will be renovating Smoky Row in about 2 years, because it was built just a couple years, 3 years later, I think, than Cherry Tree, and so we'll be able to use these twice. Now, the gift was completely free. We, of course, will pay to have them moved, relocated here, and set up and so forth. But we would have had those expenses plus we'd have the lease amount. So with getting almost twice the amount of square footage, and with even with the restrooms and everything, we'll end up spending about the same amount of money, but we'll have a much better solution for our students. And so I'm excited to present this to you, and we're just very fortunate that this came up.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the resolution authorizing and approving acceptance of transfer of construction trailers?
So moved.
Thank you, Katie. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Greg. Any discussion?
Hey, just a quick question.
Go ahead, Greg.
I don't know if is this on? Yeah. Roger, just a quick question on the safety of the buildings. You know, I know that the schools now, we've got quite a good plan for each building. Do you see any issues with that, or?
We don't. Of course, we spent considerable time and attention with regard to safety. These units will be entirely within a fence. We, of course, are taking the PA system and other that are related. You know, there's cameras out there. So as close as possible, it will have the same safety considerations as the building proper.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a good question, Greg. I actually was going to ask that as well. And another question I have is this something that we could then pay forward after we're finished with the Smoky Row project and possibly gift these to another school district that may have the same needs?
It's certainly a possibility that we would certainly consider, because after Smoky Row, we will not have a use for them, and the sale price by that time is you know, it decreases, of course, as kind of like a car in the sense that, and so that would be I think a really good consideration.
Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, we will now take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Our next action item is the bid award for the Carmel Middle School Intensive Behavior Support Program. Mr. McMichael.
Thank you. Before I get into the specifics of the bid award, let me share with you what this project's about. You may or may not recall that we have Carmel Middle School on schedule for in 2026 for what we call mid-cycle renovation finishes and so forth. It'll be fairly significant, but we felt this project really couldn't wait until then, and so it's a part of some what we've referred to as some miscellaneous projects. I think it's a total is about $2.5 million at Carmel Middle School that we felt really we needed to do them sooner rather than later. So that's included in the current bond issue as is this project. So this area is for one of our special needs programs and referred to as the Intense Behavior Program, and so it was located there, but the space has not been purpose-built for that purpose, and so there are several security concerns. One being, for example, that if the student gets dysregulated and wants to leave, the staff tries to contain them by putting up a portable, like a marker board or something, which is really, we're concerned about the safety of the staff and the student because, if the child knocks that over onto the staff and so forth. So certainly that's one aspect. This project will result in correcting that, but also providing such things as a separate entryway. So they have their own entry and hallway to go into the space, and in the morning and in the evening. It will provide for individual restrooms. Now it has a traditional restroom, and so there can be issues if you have more than one student in the restroom at a time, and then there will be much better flow for the staff to go from one classroom to the other. The whole space is about 8,000 square feet, which put that in perspective, that's like 8 classrooms. And I don't know if there's actually that many there because there's hallways, of course, and so forth. But so that's one. The security is an issue. The restrooms are an issue. It also provides some delayed, like on the doors, they will have delayed timers, which is in accordance with code, of course, from safety. But if there's an emergency or something, the door pauses for like 30 seconds before it would open, and that gives enough time. Oftentimes, that's enough time to be the difference between the child leaving the school property and not being able to do that. So that's basically what the project's about. The 2 bid awards. By the way, the 2 bid awards, about 75% of the work is by a company that's a women-owned business, which we're always pleased to have, and the total bid award is $860,000, and that's under our estimate and our budget by about 15%. So financially, it's better news than we've had in the recent past in terms of that, and so we're pleased to recommend this project and hope to get started on it soon.
I would just add that this is really bringing that space up to meet the current best practice of that program. So it was, instead of the space being what it is and make the program fit into that space, it's really taking that space and making the space fit the program. So really excited about that project.
Yes.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the bid award for the Carmel Middle School Intense Behavior Support Program?
So moved.
Thank you, Jennifer. May I have a second? Second. Thank you, Katie. Any discussion? Nope. I just had something to add. This program is near and dear to my heart, and so I think that this will be a much needed change for the staff, and so I appreciate this getting done sooner than later.
Right.
We will now take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. The next action item we have are the change orders for the Carmel Life and Learning Center interior finishes remodel. Mr. McMichael.
Thank you. This is a project at the CLLC, or the Carmel Life and Learning Center, and it has to do with mostly outside work in the parking lot repairs, sidewalk and curb repairs. If you've been over there, you've seen some of the work that's been started. And it's coming to you as a change order because the contractor is doing similar work and a lot of other work over across the street at the high school. So they're already mobilized and so forth. And so it made sense to award this to this contractor since they really have an advantage already being more or less on site. And so, but it also had, because they have a contract for the high school, and of course this wasn't included in their contract. That's why it results in a change order. So it's not a change to the original scope of his work. It's like an add to his contract.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the change order for the Carmel Life and Learning Center interior finishes remodel?
So moved.
Thank you, Katie. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Greg. Any discussion? Seeing none, we will now take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we have our discussion item, and this is materials adoption. Dr. Dudley.
Thank you. So this evening, I bring for discussion recommendations for new materials that would be used beginning in the next year, the 2024-25 school year, and used for the next 6 years from the 2029-30 school year, which seems like a long way away. So these new materials are science materials in middle school and in high school. They're also literacy materials in elementary school. And then we have a variety of some new pathways, some new courses in business, family and consumer science, performing arts, physical education, communications, as well as some courses that we adopted, like last year we adopted math materials, but we knew the standards were going to change for some of the advanced math courses, so we put that off for a year. So we do have recommendations for a few of our advanced math courses that we have at the middle school and high school. And then we also have a German course that we have recommendations for because the materials were not available. So that was put off for another year as well. So at this time, I'll take any questions you might have.
Any questions? Greg?
Yeah, just probably more of a request than anything. Dr. Dudley and I had an opportunity the other day at the open house, so to speak, and appreciated that. That probably answered a lot of my questions there. But I didn't have much chance to look at the materials, and I was wondering if there's a way, if they're still displayed somewhere or available where I could come in sometime during the week and look at a convenient time. It's just one of those things, I don't have a child now in the classes, so I'm not seeing materials, and I just thought it would be helpful if I could look at some.
So we do have samples. The samples that we had for the community open house last week, we need to send back to the publisher. But we do have other samples that if you just want to contact me, we can set up a time for you to come in and look at that. And then the other piece too is I can send you the link where you could look at all of the materials that are included in the literacy as well as in our middle school science and our high school science, so you could actually see them online as well.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And so just to add to, Mr. Braun, so we did have a community open house. We had about 14 community members come, and they had the opportunity to review the literacy materials as well as the middle school and high school science materials and the new math materials.
And thank you for having that open house. I think it's really nice to make sure the community knows and can look at the upcoming curriculum and materials. Thank you. Next on our agenda is reports. We will begin with the Staff and Student Services Report. Dr. Ostrike.
Good evening again, President Coquet, Dr. Beresford, and members of the board. It is celebration season, and as we witnessed tonight, being able to recognize all of our wonderful CCS employees, it was a fantastic evening, and that does not stop. We keep going all the way through April and May, and it is a fantastic time of the year. So I thought it was very appropriate that in tonight's report, I share with you our Teacher of the Year process. And I believe we just have a fantastic process here in Carmel Clay Schools that is very unique. And so with that, I'd like to start off by sharing some of that with you this evening. And so as the screen is getting together here at the front, and we're getting that together, what I will share with you is that each year, the Indiana Department of Education has a State Teacher of the Year selection process, and they recognize Teachers of the Years throughout the state of Indiana. And so Carmel Clay Schools, for the past 25 years, has been sending a Teacher of the Year to be a part of this program. And here in Carmel, it's pretty special because our Teacher of the Year award is endowed by the Stephen A. Backer Memorial. And as you can kind of see on the screen, Stephen A. Backer was a school board member and was also a school board president. And unfortunately, he passed away, I believe it was, 2009. And so shortly after his passing, they endowed this award to name our Teacher of the Year award after Mr. Backer. And I can also share that donations in support of the Stephen A. Backer Teacher of the Year Award can be made through the Carmel Education Foundation. The Carmel Education Foundation is a phenomenal partner in our Teacher of the Year award and process. Jen Pennick serves as a member of our selection committee, and Susan Backer, the spouse of Stephen, also participates in the process, and we're honored to have her to be a part of our Teacher of the Year award. So to talk to you a little bit about the selection process, first of all, in March, this is what really makes our community unique, I believe, is that we send out to all of our staff, our families, members of the community to nominate teachers to be identified and be named a Teacher of the Year semifinalist in each of our buildings, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And so as part of that process, that takes place in March, and in order to be selected, we have criteria that we based off the Indiana Department of Education factors, as you can see up there. And then also, they're an expert in their field. They demonstrate leadership and innovation, and you can kind of see in the presentation all of those. I'm not going to go through everything, but we identify outstanding teachers who go above and beyond for students and families and love their job and just make a tremendous impact in each of our buildings. And so the Teacher of the Year selection process, we convene a committee. We bring a committee of teachers, Carmel Teachers Association members, administrators, and past Teachers of the Year, which is really exciting. And we get together, and this year, I have to look because this number is phenomenal, 549 nominations from our community and our staff, our parents, and also our students nominate quite a few teachers each and every year, which is fantastic. And so 549 total nominations. Our committee had a heavy lift this year. And so what they do is they look at the nominations, they read through the nominations, they contact each of the principals, and then some teachers are nominated multiple times. As you heard, the one bus driver, she received numerous nominations back in 2021. We do a separate classified staff of the year program. I'm not going to get into that tonight, maybe another time, but a very similar process for our classified staff of the year, our support staff. And so with that, they take all those nominations and they have a lot of homework to do. And so they contact the principal, they contact some of the people that had nominated the teachers, and they put a lot of research into it. And so they work in teams. The high school's a team, the middle school's a team, and then we have a big elementary school team. And so they do the heavy lifting, and then once they've put all their work in, we reconvene the committee together, and then we go through nominations on who should be identified as a Teacher of the Year semifinalist in each of our buildings. And so as you can see, we have 8 semifinalists from the high school. We have 2 semifinalists from each middle school and 1 from every one of our elementary schools. And the reason why we do that is to be equitable to the number of teachers that we have at the high school in relation to the middle school and in relation to the elementary school. So 25 total building winners are identified. That's a long meeting. And that takes a while for us to get through all of those. There's a lot of discussion. The people are presenting the research that they've done, and so there's a lot of conversation. So once we get to those 25 total building winners, then the real task begins as they have to narrow that 25. Typically, we take it to about 25 to 10, 10 to 5, 5 to 3, 3 to 2, and then ultimately we identify the Carmel Clay Schools overall Teacher of the Year. And you can see we have our 2023 Teacher of the Year, Mrs. David Duke, and then our 2022 Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Overbeck, kind of crowning the new Teacher of the Year there in that picture. So 1 overall is selected in our district. And then we come together, and the board is invited. On May 1st, we're going to have our Teacher of the Year banquet that we hold at the Freshman Center. You can see some pictures from last year's banquet on there, where we recognize all 25 building winners, say some kind words about each of them. They get awards, and then at the end of the evening, Dr. Beresford will name the Teacher of the Year for Carmel Clay Schools, and it is a fantastic night. So if you've not been to one, we would love to have the school board attend this year. And then I just wanted to include our former Teachers of the Year that you can see. The program officially began in 1999, where Mrs. Ina Van Dyne was recognized as a Teacher of the Year, who's also the mom of Amy Shear, our HR coordinator, if you didn't know that. And as you can see all of them for the past 24 years, and this will be our 25th year that we'll recognize, I believe. I have Mr. Mark Weaver highlighted on there from Clay Middle School. Mr. Weaver is retired. He does come back every year to visit Clay Middle School. Mr. Weaver was identified as the Indiana State Department of Education Teacher of the Year for the state back in 2003. And if we have anyone from the selection committee from the Department of Education watching tonight, I think we have a great candidate to present to you this year for the Teacher of the Year process. So we are excited about this year. We also go out to the buildings, and Dr. Beresford, Mr. McMichael, Dr. Dudley, myself, we go out to the buildings and surprise the Teachers of the Year. We will do that before the April ends, and that's always a fun time to go out and recognize them and celebrate them in their classrooms. And I think sometimes the students are more excited as we go into those classrooms to recognize their teachers. And so wanted to share with you, celebration season continues. It's an honor to work here in Carmel Clay Schools, and I'm so proud of all of our teachers here in the district. But when we get to recognize our Teachers of the Year, it is a wonderful celebration. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions you may have.
Katie? Mine is more just a comment. I love that we take the time to recognize the teachers. I've had the privilege of attending the surprise where we go into the classrooms, and you're 1,000% correct. Those students are so incredibly excited and happy for their teachers, and that moment is just so pure because you can see. You can tell why that teacher won that nomination for how genuine that they care about their kids. One of my favorites is that it was during iLearn, and so the kids were just like off the walls, ballistic, happy, and the teacher was like overwhelmed with all, and she's like trying to get them like calm down so that they could take their test like a true teacher. She's trying to like wrangle them all together and everything, and it was just so wonderful and amazing. And as a daughter of a teacher, I cannot express to you that it reverberates into their household. It means so much to recognize these incredible employees, and I love that we do it on more of just, instead of just naming one, that you make such a celebration of all of those semifinalists. I think that that's so important because that does really mean something. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that report.
All right, you bet. And if I may, one more recognition for tonight as we celebrated our years of service employees and our retirees. Special thank you to our technology department and also Mr. Shuhai, Christy Cloud. I think I saw Shane in here a little bit, but they made this happen. And I also believe that it is special for our employees being recognized for years of service and retirees to have the opportunity to be on stage and their families celebrate them. So a lot of hard work went into tonight and goes into all of our celebrations, and just one more thank you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next report is the superintendent's report. Dr. Beresford.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful night. I always love years of service award night and retirees. You know, I spoke with several of them as they were going across the stage, and when you try to do the math on it, think of a 50-year employee who spent all those years teaching science in the classroom and then drove that bus for all those years, and it adds up to 50. So you think of how many students and families has that one, how many has George touched, you know, in a positive way. And I don't know if you guys have what kind of relationships you've had, but bus drivers are kind of like part of the family. And we typically have a lot of people that nominate their bus driver because that's their bus driver, you know. And it's just I don't know what the math of that would be, but I know it's a big number. And then the other piece of it is here's someone that spent their whole career and all those years working with kids and families, and those were just service years here and retiree numbers here, but some of them may have worked in another district and have even more years in a different location. And so that impact, that positive impact, just goes on and on. So I just wanted to do one more congratulations to all of our service award winners. I think I might have hurt their feelings a little bit because I said, you're a 2-decade girl, and I said, you're a 3-decade guy. And especially I'd like to congratulate Mr. McMichael on 3 decades of keeping us very tidy and always having a clean audit. So appreciate your leadership, Roger, and not just that, but with facilities and all that you do for the district. Also, I'm on the thank you train. I want to thank Dr. Ostrike. You know, he kind of goes over that stat of 590-some nominations, but it takes an incredible amount of detailed and organizational work to get those teams and to be able to fairly go through all of that information. And so it's no small task. And I used to do that. So I wasn't as good at it as you are. And your team too, if you just please give my regards to them, because it's a big job, but it's one that they do because of the joy involved and really wanting to do it right. And you know, it's got to be a tough job here because we have so many talented individuals around. So thank you, Dr. O, and your team, and we'll go from there. My superintendent's reports, I did all bullets, so we can move it along. But first, from the world of sports, I wanted you to know that spring is here, and there are 748 student athletes that are competing in 11 spring varsity sports. And my resource on this is Jimmy Inskeep, so you know he's a numbers guy. The teams are off to great starts, with girls tennis, boys lacrosse, and baseball are all holding the #1 ranking already here in this season. So we'll see how that goes. I think the varsity's playing Westfield tonight, so I didn't we'll find out how that went. Also want you to know that 964 students will be honored as scholar athletes at the high school next month. So to qualify, students must have a 3.7 grade point average or higher for the first semester. So when you think of 964, That's truly a remarkable number and indicative of the time management skills, the drive, and support from parents to achieve that honor. So we always talk about student athletes, and sometimes I think we probably need to talk more about students, but we do definitely want to talk about their athletics too. Now I'm moving over to the world of music. And right the week before spring break, I didn't want to miss this because I attended the Cherry Tree Orff performance. And if you don't know what Orff is, it's elementary music, and there's a lot of bongo drums, and there's a lot of xylophones, and a lot of rhythmic things. And so Jim Danny, my school dog, and I attended the Orff performance, and the show was called "The Day the Crayons Quit," and really it was really a lot of talk about how frustrated crayons get, which I've never really considered in my life. But it was super cute, and it had a lot of choreography, and the elementary students were just fantastic. So kudos to Mrs. Moody, Mrs. Carter, Mrs. Hyatt, and Mrs. Drost, on just a fantastic performance. And if you ever get a chance to catch an Orff show, you want to jump on that because it's very, very entertaining. I wanted to also do a shout out to the community that the Ear Candy a cappella performance is this Wednesday, and it's one of my favorite shows of the year. It's all a cappella, and the students do most, if not all, of the arrangements. It's a team that works together, and they'll play songs. They'll sing songs from, I say play because they do have percussion, but they'll sing songs from every era. You'll be there and you'll remember that song from high school, college, and for me beyond. So it's a good show. I also want to remind the community that Cinderella is our musical this year, and it's going to be a sellout, I'm sure. So you want to jump on those tickets. I think they're on sale right now. And then, of course, our spring concerts are coming up. So some amazing band, orchestra, and choral, and just a little bit of everything. So there's the world of music. I did want you to know that Tech Hounds did qualify for the World's competition. And so all of their success throughout the season qualified them for that. And so they'll be... I guess they're going to be going for a world championship, so that's pretty impressive. As Dr. Ostrike mentioned, we have the celebration season coming up, and that includes our Teacher of the Year, our Sports Staff of the Year, but also the Foundation Scholarship Awards Night's going to be coming up, and that's always an outstanding program. The Top Scholar Banquet at Carmel High School will be coming up, and I try to get all their names because I know that I'm probably going to need some more joint replacements and maybe some surgery, so I want to get in good with those guys because there's the brilliance is unbelievable. And so Top Scholar Banquet, and they'll also be inducting two people into that I mentioned last time into the Hall of Fame, which is pretty good. So that's just a few. So between now and the end of May, it's going to be like I said in my weekly updates, time to tighten up your shoestrings and get ready to sprint because we're in the sprint to the finish. Also wanted to announce that the school board seminar, which is some time we take to inform people in the community who might be interested in being on the school board and might want to file to be a candidate for the school board. So we will be holding that on May the 21st at 10 a.m. in our public meeting room there at the Educational Service Center, just a block from here. And the seminars will really be a lot of good information to inform possible candidates about the roles, the duties, and the function of a school board. So I want to put that out there. And then finally, my bell ringer. And I was kind of going through, but since the last meeting, and then it came pretty clear. I actually had some recommendations, and it came crystal clear. My bell ringer today is the eclipse. First off, I think it was a good idea to take and flip that Friday to that Monday so everybody could spend time with their families. And so there were so many gatherings. Luckily, we did not get gridlocked as was predicted, and so that was a good thing, I think. And but that 3.5 minutes of total darkness was just unbelievable, and it was just a magnificent thing. This is my third eclipse, but my first total, complete darkness eclipse. And it's also always a phenomenon, but it's something that, you know, I think our students and our families, I mean, everybody stops for a moment and all of a sudden you're a science person. And and I can just tell you personally, our family was together and it was fantastic. And one thing I wanted to highlight though was not just the darkness and when the lawn lights came on and that sort of thing, but as we were watching the eclipse, if you noticed that when the very, very tiniest little speck of light occurred after the total eclipse, there were shadows on the ground. And it was a dot on the sun, but it illuminated the entire world. And we always talk about be the light, you know, and it doesn't take a big light. It just takes a little bit of a light that can cast a really good shadow. So with that, I'll end my report, and thank you very much.
Oh, I turned it off. Thank you. I agree. Be the light. That was a good one. I was going to announce some of our upcoming meetings. Tomorrow, April 16th, we have a school board executive session. Our next regular school board session is May 13th. May 23rd is the last day of school for students. We are in the home stretch. And then May 27th, the schools and the offices are closed for Memorial Day. With all of that, can I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Katie. Can I have a second? Second. Thank you, Jennifer. Meeting adjourned.